Hello there and welcome to the third lesson of our course. Now, if you have been watching the previous two lessons, you must have realized that how boring they were because we were just completely covering the foundation of Blender. And we are doing really boring stuff. We didn't really do much of exciting stuff, if you know what I mean. But that is going to change in this lesson, as in this lesson will actually be learning that how to edit the individual points of a model. So we learn how to create custom shapes and not just the simple cubes. So yeah, let's just get started with the tutorial. Okay, so right here I'm in the Blender screen. Now this, if you would remember, we discussed in the previous lesson, we discussed about some details for the panels and some of the basic animation and everything like that. So all of this stuff is from the previous lesson. If you have not watched it, make sure to watch it, and I'll be just deleting it. And I'll also be turning on my screencast keys. Okay, great. So let's just get started. Now, before we get started, what I want you to understand is the basics of the model inside of Blender. That what is a model made of? So, if for example, if I just add in a simple cube, remember how we do it? We do it by pressing Shift plus A. So if you want to add any object, we just add Shift plus A. Now I'll go over to the mesh and then I'll just add in a cube. There we go. Now a cube, what do we see? Now a cube, let me just do some annotations. A cube is made of these small points, and these small points are known as vertex. Vertex is the singular form of these. The individual points are known as vertex, or if we want to know the plural version, so let's say there are two or more, then they are called vertices. Now what happens when these vertices are joined together? So let's just say that I joined this vertex with this one with this one, and I just keep on repeating it. I just connect it with this one, down here I connect to all three of these, and then I connect them all back together, also by the one in the behind, which may have been hidden a bit, but yeah, there's another vertex right over here. So what we have found is like a cage version of a model where all of these vertex points are connected to each other. So it has formed, you could say, lines which are known as edges inside of Blender. Now once all of these are connected, what they will form is known as a face, which is, as you can see here, is a solid face. And it's just like, as you can see here, this is what makes a cube because it fills all of those gaps and creates a new face. So yeah, that was the brief introduction of the basic modeling inside of Blender. So the simple model is made of a vertex, plural for vertices, and then if we connect two vertex together, then they are known as edges or an edge, and if we connect edges together, then they are known as faces. So once you have that out of the way, we can jump into some of the more details. Now what I want to do is I want to showcase all of that inside of 3D. So what I will just do is I'll just delete this cube, or actually we can just play with this cube. We do not need to worry about it. And now what I will do is I will just go over to the edit mode. Remember, we discussed like a brief introduction about the edit mode in one of the previous lessons, where we discussed that in the edit mode we can change the individual points. As you know, in the object mode it is not possible, but in the edit mode it is possible. So what I will just do is I'll just head over to the edit mode for now. Okay, now I do not want you to focus on any of the tools that have popped up. Just ignore all of them. We'll just come to them in a second. Now what I'll just do right now is I will press the M key and then I will just click. So I'm merging all of these edges, all of these vertices, all of these faces by pressing M and merging them at center. Okay, now what I will just do is I will duplicate this vertex by pressing Shift plus D as you would duplicate any other object, and I'll move it on the x-axis. Now what I will just do is I will just connect these two vertices together, and now here's what we call an edge. Now I have formed an edge because I connected this vertex to this vertex, so an edge was formed. Now let's just say that I just duplicate both of these vertex points again, and then I move them on the y-axis. Now I just connect this vertex and this vertex together. So what I'll just do is I'll just click on both of these vertex points, and I'll just join them by pressing the F key. And same for this one. Now as you can see here, there are 4 edges all together. So one over here, another one over here, and 2 more right over here. Now what I'll do is I will just select all of these edges by holding down the Shift key and then selecting all of them. And now I'll press the F key again to fill the empty space and create a face. So just a quick recap, what we did was we started out with this one vertex, we then duplicated it right over here, then we just joined it, and then we just took this part and then placed it over here. And then there were 2 more vertex points right over here, and then we joined them with these ones. Yeah, we just joined them with these ones, and then we just press the F key again to fill in this empty space. That was just a practical demonstration of what we just discussed earlier. I just wanted you to get a better understanding of what the vertex points are and what the edges are and what the faces are. Okay, so I have done some basic annotations to give you a better idea about the vertex, edge, and face. So yeah, I would hope that the concept of vertex and edge would be clear by now, but there's something more that we need to discuss about the face. Now, a face that we simply just saw right now, it was just a face made of 4 vertex points, 4 vertices, and also 4 edges. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was made of total 4 vertices and 4 edges. Now there may be a question that may arise in your mind, that can a face have, let's say, 3 edges and 3 vertices points, or maybe even 5, maybe even 6, 7, 100, and you will be absolutely correct. All of the examples I just gave are absolutely possible. So we can have a face which is a simple triangle. This will also be a face, or we can also have a shape, let's say something like this, a non-primitive shape. So let's just say it is made of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, total 8 vertex points. So we can have almost, you could say, an infinite number of vertex points theoretically, and this will also be known as a face. It will also be classified as a face. So either a face has 3 edges, 4 edges, 5 edges, 6 edges, 1 million edges, it will still be considered a face. Although it cannot have edges lower than 3, because let's just think about it practically. How will you have a face made of just a line? It's not a face. It's just a line made of 2 vertex points. So it will not be classified as a face, and it will not have, you could say, any surface area. So that was just to showcase a bit more detail about the faces, and just to give a bit more clarity about what the vertices, edges, and faces are. So let's just jump right into the more fun part, where we will actually implement it in the practical scenario. So let me just get rid of all of the annotations that I've just did. This may take some time. Yep, still going. Okay, So finally we are done. Let's just get started with the practical scenario. Now what I will just do is I will just add in a simple cube. So shift plus A, and I will just go over to the mesh, and then I will add in a cube. Now we'll go over to the scary part now, you know, the scary mode that we have been really scared about, which is the edit mode. Just joking, do not be scared of it, it's just a mode. So right now we're in the object mode. So to switch into the edit mode, you can either press the tab key, or alternatively what you can do is you can go over to the this menu and go to the edit mode. Now first thing first, I want to make clear that there are three types of selections mode, as there are three types of building blocks of a model. So yeah, so to select vertices, you can just click on this icon or press 1 to turn on vertex selection mode. So you can select individual vertex points, and in this mode you can also select the edges by selecting two vertices. So you have selected an edge, or you can also select a face. So there's the most flexibility in this option. And next we have the edge selection mode, or you can also access it by pressing 2. So you can select edges or faces but not vertex points, or you can select faces where you can only select the faces and not edges or vertex points, so only the faces. So this has the least flexibility, this has the most flexibility. Okay, so as you may just have noticed, you may have realized that in this edit mode we can move the individual points just by using the simple tools that we discussed in the object mode. So by pressing the G key, I can move the individual points anywhere I want, either on the y-axis, x-axis, z-axis, anywhere I want to. So what we can actually do is we can connect this chord, and chord is just a face with more than four sides, not more than 4 sides, my bad. So we can just select these two vertex points, and then we can just press the F key, and as you can see, the face is not divided. What's going on? Well, this is what happens when you use the F key. F just connects two vertices together, but it does not divide the face into two equal halves. But for that we need to use the J key, which actually joins the two vertex points. So it actually divides the individual face. It just actually divides the face into the individual faces. So yeah, we already know that a face with 4 sides is known as a chord. A face with 3 sides is known as a triangle. But what about face with 5 sides, 6 sides, 7 sides, 1 million sides, 1 trillion sides? Well, all of these will be known as n-cons. So you could say any face with more than 4 sides is known as an n-con. Okay, so yeah, let's just get into the fun part where we actually manipulate the geometry of this object. So yeah, firstly we have the simple tools, which is the move tool, rotation tool, scale tool, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And all of these we discussed in the previous lessons as well. Now let's get to the fun part. Firstly, we have the extrude tool. So it just extrudes the region or the face we have selected. So let's just say I've selected this face, and if I just drag this bar, okay, I just drag this bar, and as you can see, it just extended this face and created new faces connecting it to the original face. As you can see, it just basically extruded the region simply. And we can also do it with the shortcuts, which is what I would recommend. I would highly recommend that you learn all of the shortcuts, as it will save you a lot of time. So the shortcut is simply the E key. I can press the E key to extrude. And one cool feature of the extrusion is if I just press the control key, and then if I click with the with my right mouse button, it will extrude it based on where my cursor is pointing. You see how cool is that? As you can see here, I can extrude it in all of the directions. Look at that. But yeah, we obviously won't want that. or at least in this case. So yeah, let's just get into the another example or another tool. So another tool is the inset faces, which is basically insets the faces, as you can see here, and its shortcut is the I key, just like so. And another one we have is the bevel tool. The bevel tool is the interesting one because it just adds like a chamfer to the I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I hope so, I'm doing it. But it just adds, you could say, it just creates a wedge on the edges. So let's just say that if I just pull this bar, as you can see, I just created a wedge, or just beveled the edges, or that whole face, connecting whole face which was based on the edges, as you can see here. Now we can also bevel it with more than one segments, as you can see here. I can bevel it with, let's say, 5 segments, and I just do it. As you can see here, we get a much more smoother bevel, as you can see here, just like so. And yeah, and we can also play around with the shape. So if I just change the shape to 1, as you can see here, it just gives you could say it just doesn't really add a lot of the curvature. But if I just change it to 0, as you can see, it just goes completely inwards, as you can see here. This can be really cool for making let's say that you could say pillars. It could be really useful for those. And yeah, one more feature about the about the bevel tool is, let's say if you are just beveling, let me just change it to 0.5 once again. Let's say if you are just beveling, and as you can see, these edges just start overlapping. As you can see, there is just weird artifacts. So what we can just do is we can just press the C key, so it will just clamp right before it starts to overlap. So it just bevels it perfectly, just like so. Now its shortcut is Control plus B, as you can see here. Now to bevel the individual vertex points, you can also do that by pressing the Control Shift and B. As you can see, we are only beveling the individual vertex points and not the edges, just like so. See how it just gives such a cool, you could say, shape, such a unique shape. So yeah, that's for the bevel tool. And let's just discuss about a tool that I believe will be very great for you, and that is the loop cut tool. So what it just do is it just adds more edges into the shape, into your model. So let's just say that I want a new edge going through the middle. So as you can see, Blender just shows you previews, and if I just click it, it will just add new geometry to my shape. You see how I can just keep on adding them, and as you can see here, it just makes it much more better. And what we can also do is we can increase the number of cuts that we need to add. So if I just click on it right now, it will add 5, as you can see here. See how cool this looks. We are actually doing something cool for the first time in this course, but don't worry, we'll be doing a lot more cooler things in the future. As you can see here, we have added a lot more geometry into our cube, and its shortcut is Control plus R. So if I just want to add any loop cuts, I can just press Control plus R, and if I just if I just drag my mouse wheel, then I can increase the number of cuts that I want to add, as you can see here. Now one last tool that we are going to discuss about is the knife tool. The knife tool is like a knife. It just allows you to simply it just allows us to simply add cuts based on our liking. So loop cut only allows us to add cuts in a specific manner. As you can see, there isn't really much of the freedom. So what we can just do is we can just use the knife tool to add custom shapes, as you can see here. And this would not have been possible with the loop cut tool, as you can see here. we just added a new triangle inside of it. But one warning I want to give, that you could say that triangles are mid. You know, the triangles are really mid. You should always aim to go for you should always go to you should always aim for keeping quad topology, so all of the faces should be quads. And if even if some faces are triangles, it's fine, but in most scenarios n-gons will cause you issues. So I'm talking about in curved surfaces, n-gons will in most scenarios n-gons will cause you issues. N-gons are faces with more than 4 sides or more than 4 edges, and triangles, they can work fine in some scenarios, but they may cause issues in some scenarios. But yeah, your go-to face type is the quads, which is a face with 4 sides. But if you're talking about, let's say, a flat surface, honestly it just doesn't really matter which type of face you're using, it won't really cause a lot of issues. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the edit tools or the edit mode tools. Now what I just want to discuss about is a quick tip, which is simply subdividing the mesh. So let's say that I just let me remove this. Yes, one more thing, that I can select the edges and then I can press the Ctrl plus X key or the shortcut to dissolve them. So it will try to keep the so it will conserve the face without so as you can see, it will just conserve the face and it will also remove the edge, as you can see here. And yeah, one more thing I want to discuss about is subdividing. So I've just selected this cube right over here, and let's just say that I just press the right mouse button and then I press subdivide. As you can see, it just adds new geometry into based on the same shape that is our whole model based on. As you can see, it just basically multiplies the level of geometry, as you can see here. As you can see, we have added so much geometry that it just basically looks like an orange shape, as you can see here. So yeah, I would say that pretty much sums up our first lesson regarding the our first proper lessons regarding the modeling. So you should be able to model basic shapes, like I would recommend you to model your table that you will be sitting on, your monitor, maybe your laptop. You should be able to do these things with the tools that we have discussed in this lesson. So yeah guys, that is pretty much it for today, and yeah, we'll be meeting in the next one. Have a great day.